Hello everybody, this is Evan Irwin. It is July 17th, 2006, and today I'm going to be going over the blue cards in Coldsnap. First up we have a Dark Arwyn form. Now this guy is a 3/3 for 5 mana, it flies. Now as I said in the first video, if you have a 5 mana 3/3 flyer, play it. Never a bad thing in limited. This guy is even better. He has 1 snow, 1 colorless, colon. That's colon, not tap. Target creature loses flying until end of turn. Now, in a format like Coldsnap that has very little removal, normally you get a creature stall, you have a flyer, they have a flyer, they have a huge monster, you have a huge monster, so on and so forth, and a card like a Dark Arwyn form can absolutely break stalemates in half. This card is really fantastic, and I would first pick it with pride. Next up is Arkham Daxon. And this card is trash. Basically, it has the most limited ability ever for Coldsnap Draft, which is replacing an artifact creature, which would have to be Phyrexian Ironfoot. At least that's the only one that comes to mind. And then that player searches their library for a non-creature artifact, and nobody cares, and who gives a crap. Vian Fosswalker. I thought this guy was a 2/2 when I first played him at the pre-release and found out he was a 1/1, but I tell you what, if you have 4 or 5 snowlands, he is definitely worth playing. Again, he makes flyers. Flyers are rare in this format. Unfortunately, he does make 2/2s, and in a format that was defined by 3/3s, could be better. Commandeer is a great constructed card. It is not a good limited card. First of all, it takes 1,000 mana, or you're probably going to be pitching creatures to play it. Now, I can't think of any huge monster bombs such as artifacts or maybe enchantments, surging might, maybe that I can think of that you would really want to take over for the cost of 3 cards. It's not just, oh, I get that spell. It's, I get that spell and I have to lose this much. Now in the late game, I'm sure it's not the worst thing ever. That any non-creature spell they play is going to backfire in their face pretty badly. But at the same time, it is dangerous and it is expensive, and I would not play it. Controvert, man, that card looks so good, but I'll tell you what, this format is way creature focused. There is just not enough time to sit around with 4 mana open hoping to counter something, and the recover cost is incredibly expensive. I don't think this even has constructed possibilities. The recover on the original spoiler when it was first shown was 4 colorless, but it's 2 blue and 2 colorless, the same as the cost. No thank you. Next up we have counterbalance. Now this card is trash in limited. Could be okay in type 2, but no one's sure. But just pass this one and don't worry about it. Drellnock. This guy is a first pick. He is incredible, an amazing creature who defines the format. If you play blue and green and you have a Surging Might on a Drellnock, you might as well say, hey look, I won the game, or they have some incredible trump card, because Drellnock is almost unstoppable and almost unblockable. No one is going to want to give you 2 free cards for basically nothing. Flash Freeze is just too narrow to recommend picking it anything beyond 7th or 8th or beyond. I would never pick this card early because it's just too much of a gamble to be worth it. Frostraptor is a great little common. I rode on the back of this guy to victory all the time. 3 mana, 2/2 flyer. That is great in limited. Basically in any format you can think of. For example, Dissension just had a free one Equinaut printed, and it's a white and 2 colorless for a 2/2 flyer with a mediocre ability, and it didn't matter because it's a 2/2 flyer for 3 mana, and you take 2/2 flyers for 3 mana. Frozen Solid is not that good. I don't know if it was the pre-release taint of playing against players who were not very good, but I saw someone with 5 of these in his deck and he got the crap beat out of him. The problem is that if they don't have some way to deal it damage, then they have to wait for you to tap it. If they're waiting for you to tap it, that means they're waiting for you to attack, which means they're probably not playing creatures, which means they're already behind. I'll happily lose creatures as long as I can, with Frozen Solid, as long as I can keep playing new ones and beating their face. Hydar Rymewin Master. I tell you, I think this guy is pretty decent, but I never saw him in draft. I never saw him in play. He does take quite a few snow permanents, but if you're playing heavy blue, that shouldn't be a problem. Right now, I would not call this guy a bomb. I would call him incredibly playable. I would not first pick him, but I would pick him early because he definitely has potential. Jokel Mortar is the very definition of crap. Never ever pick it I saw this going around 14th at pre-release. Even the pre-release players didn't want this garbage. Provoking Mist is trash. You know why? Because creature illusion, guess how many illusions there are? One, and maybe there are some in other colors that are uncommon or something. It doesn't matter. You'll never see enough illusions to make this matter. You'll never get enough copies to make this matter. Let's keep going. Provoking Whispers is basically control magic. It's the best control magic we've had in a while. It's 4 mana to control the enchanted creature. And you know what? Basically, if that creature is huge and that creature is going to win you the game in a couple turns, you want to take it. Otherwise, the cumulative upkeep on Provoking Whispers is too expensive to play consistently time and time again. I wouldn't windmill slam this pick, but I would take it somewhere between 3rd and 5th. Martyr of Frost is too narrow, too small, not worth it, not big enough. I'm not a fan of this card at all. Perilous Research is amazing. I saw this going so late. Apparently, casual players don't really respect card drawing, I think, as much as the spikes out there, the tournament players do. And I caught 3 of these in one draft, and I had to leave one on the sideboard. But Perilous Research is amazing, and you find out how amazing it is when you say damage on the stack, tap a blue and a colorless, draw 2 cards, and sack the creature that was going to die anyway. That is amazing, and is worth always playing. Rime Feather Owl. I had my doubts in this guy, but after thinking about it, I'm pretty sure he's amazing in draft. You slap him down, and then you just start owning the skies. This whole format is 3/3s, and if he can get to a 4/4 or better, so he gets pretty crazy pretty quick, I would pick him very highly. First pick him? Maybe. If there's no Adarkar Wind form or there's no Drellknock, I'd have to think long and hard about it. I think I would pick Drellknock or Wind form above him, but that's about it. Rhymewind Cryomancer, too expensive, needs a lot of snow permanents to do something very narrow. I don't like this card personally. It's only a 2/3. It's not going to be able to block the big green creatures that are 3/3s, or any 3/3 creature for that matter. I didn't like her much at all, and I passed her with impunity. Rhymewind Taskmage. Some people are very, very high up on this card. They really like it. However, it is not a snow creature, and it needs 4 other snow permanents to work. Again, I've not had a lot of experience with this one. I would not take it highly until I've seen it really affect a game, because having to have 4 snow permanents, or it's a 1/2 for 2 mana, is a little stretch for me. Ronom Serpent is not really playable, at least not that I could see. It's funny, in pre-release you kind of notice that things might be playable, but I just never got around to finding 6 mana for this guy. Rune Snag is a counterspell, and counterspells in this format are worthless. This card is great and constructed. It's worthless and limited. Surging Aether is fantastic. Unfortunately, this guy, there's no picture here, but Surging Aether is a blue and 3 colorless to return target permanent to its owner's hand, ripple 4. I think this card is great. I would pick it 5th through 8th pick. I would not first pick it. I wouldn't slam it down. I would definitely pick creatures over it, but it's probably the best removal that green, white, blue as an archetype could have. If you're missing red or black, I'd take it very highly. Survivor of the Unseen needs 1,000 mana for its upkeep, is not worth it, and I would never play it. Thermal Flux is a very narrow card, basically the very definition of a card that you can pass by. Don't worry, it's not worth it, ever. Lastly, we have Vexing Sphinx, who is great. I think this is a bomb rare. I think it's big enough to matter, obviously, in the skies. I think it's big enough to hold its own versus the huge green monsters. And I think, it's hard to find a really bad drawback with this card. It's going to give you cards when it dies. It's going to affect the game state greatly. I would definitely, at the very least, pick it in the first 2 or 3 picks. And would never, if I see one, I think you're not going blue. So take that how you like. Thank you for your time, and I'll talk to you soon.